everyone, Breanne here from Pixite with you today, and I'm going to be sharing with you a tip. Today I'm going to be demonstrating fog or mist. So as you can see, I picked a page. This is from one of the trees books. I colored this up into the point where I'm going to put the mist. I kind of did a little bit in the back, but I'm going to do mist around the base and kind of do a fog drift down here as if it's kind of a dewy night. This could be done, obviously I'm using a night scene, but it could be done for a rainy day. It could be done for spring, which is coming up very shortly. So yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can apply this, and it's kind of the same method as I do my clouds, but not quite. Okay, so let's get started. To start, I'm going to be putting it on freehand mode, and I'm going to start by using the watercolor brush. So with this brush, I'm going to make sure my opacity is down, that it's right about here. You can play around with it if you're not getting the desired result, but since I am doing a concentrated area, I'm going to play with my brush size a little bit until I find the desired opacity. Now you can see my recently used colors here. It's more of a darker palette because, like I said, it is a night scene. So I'm going to use this palette and just play with the colors and adjust it on the slider. So as long as I bring down the opacity, then I can kind of start with my mist. So let's do that. So make sure I'm on freehand mode because I want to easily glide around to make it look fluid. And then you just kind of want to dab in different areas. Now you can go over the tree if you want. If you might want to turn up the opacity if you're going to go around the tree a little bit, just so you can see it a little bit clearer, because mist does kind of get stronger in areas and lighter in others. So you can see I'm just dabbing in the watercolor, and you can also mix it up by making the colors a little bit deeper, a little bit darker in certain areas, just to blend it out a little bit and make it look a little more fluid. And you can switch back and forth to automatic and freehand mode as it suits you. There's no right or wrong way. It's just finding that balance that you're looking for. So just from using the watercolor, I've already kind of made a base for my fog, and you could honestly just leave it like this if you want, but there are things that you can do if you want to tweak it and make it a little more flowy or like airy, like rising up or something like that. So let's do that. So you can also grab out your airbrush, and you can, don't forget to play with your colors, play with your opacity, play with your brush size, because that's all gonna make that mist look realistic and fluid, right? I keep on saying fluid, but that's what I'm trying to achieve here. Kind of reiterate certain areas that I want more predominant. Make layers. That's basically what I'm doing, is I'm making layers. That's why I'm leaving the dark colors, because it creates a shadow, and it really does give the illusion of mist, because it's not just one color all the way through. It's built up on layers. So you can see that's already looking misty and foggy. So basically you can do mist or fog the same way. It's just balancing out those colors and leaving some shadows in different areas so you get that variation. Now if you want to blend it out a little bit more, you can play with the blur tool. So you can bring down your brush size and your blur amount just to see, get it started. And then of course, if you want to blur it more, turn it up. I always kind of start low. Want to make sure you're on automatic when you're using this as well. Otherwise it'll blur the rest of your picture. So by doing this, it kind of mixes in with the other colors. Now, if you want to cut it out from the tree altogether, which I'm thinking I want to do, I'm going to bring out my black here on Airbrush, Freehand. So if you don't want it to wrap around the tree, you can just shade right over it. Just like that. Just so, because I'm going to do the mist in the background. I think it looks better with this illustration to keep it in the background. And we can always touch up the base of our tree if we want to with the pencil to bring some of that detail back. Okay, so after we do that, you can play around with the watercolor a little bit more, but basically what I use to create mist or fog is the watercolor tool, the airbrush tool, and the blur. Those are my main ones, but you can always add more. The pastel is really great for blending. So if you want to make like a glowing mist, you can bring out one of the brighter blues, turn down the opacity, and you can really make it blend. Like, I love the pastel for that. It's a great blending brush. For any of you who haven't tried it for that, it's really great because it mixes all the colors. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make the mist glow a little bit more. So I'm using a bright blue now, and then I'm just kind of dragging it through so it has a little bit of a glow to it. It's really not hard to do. It's actually one of the easier things to do, I find, is the mist. It's just playing and blending and moving colors. Like I said, it's good to keep a dark color in there. So you have your shadows. You can even use the blender in here too. The blender would work well. I like using the blur because it really shows those lines in the mist. If you look up close, you can really see how it kind of makes a background, because it makes it look like it's far away, like it's in the distance. So as you can see, I'm just playing with the airbrush, going back and forth, and that's pretty much how I would make mist. I wouldn't overcomplicate it and make it any more difficult than that. I started out with the watercolor. That's usually what I would do, and then you can layer it a little bit with the airbrush, color match around your area to add those shadowy areas. And that's all I would do. And I think, honestly, I would leave it. I think it looks good the way it does. Maybe just go over here with the blur one more time. And just keep on adding those layers. You don't even have to blur. Like if you're doing an up close piece and you want like the mist to look more vivid, don't blur. But I'm using it in the background. I was gonna go around the tree, but I find it just took away from the detail of the tree. So I opted out of that. So this is more of a background blur with some glowing mist from the moon that's in behind the tree with the stars. So yeah, a night scene with fog. Now you can apply this, like I said in the beginning of the video, you can apply it to a rainy day. You can apply it to spring, like in the early morning. We know we get that dew that rises if you're trying to do a scene like that. There's many ways that you can apply this to your work. And I figure that using the blur is fun to experiment with because you can use it for many backgrounds. Like if you want flowers in your background, the limits are pretty endless with that, but we're discussing fog today, so I'll leave it there. But just have fun experimenting with the blur because it is a really cool tool that I love using in all my colorings. And this is the tip that we're doing today, and I hope that it was helpful and that you can use it in your future colorings. We will be doing these once in a while, so if you want to like and subscribe, it'll come up in your news feed and you can keep up to date with all the videos for Pigment and Pixite. Take care, everybody, and we will see you again next time. Bye.